Once upon a time, dating was simple. You married the guy who lived 3 houses down because he owned a horse, had all his teeth, and made consistent eye contact. That was basically the algorithm, and somehow people seem happier. These were Sophia's great-grandparents. Now compare that to Sophia's love life. She has access to more potential partners before lunch than her grandmother met in her entire lifetime. Thousands of profiles, infinite swipes, endless choices, and yet somehow modern dating feels significantly worse. Why is that? Psychologist Barry Schwartz discovered something called the paradox of choice. The idea is descriptively simple. We think more choices will make us happier, but after a certain point, more choices stop feeling empowering and start feeling psychologically exhausting. When humans have only a few options, we focus on appreciation, but when options become endless, our brains switch into comparison mode. Suddenly, every decision feels stressful because choosing one thing means eliminating every other possibility. Strangely, having more choices also create more self-blame. If your grandparents married one of the only 5 eligible people in town and it didn't work out, it felt like bad luck. But if you have access to thousands of carefully curated profiles, compatibility filter, astrology charts, attachment styles, dog photos, and political opinions, and you still choose poorly, now it feels like a personal failure, as if you've optimized the algorithm incorrectly. Modern dating didn't just increase options, it increased psychological pressure. Now every romantic decision feels like, this is better be the correct final answer, because I had 4.2 million options and Wi-Fi. Dating apps have turned this phenomenon into a lifestyle. Even when a date goes well, your brain still whispers, okay, but what if the next swipe is better? He's attractive, emotionally available, has career goals, and responds to texts in less than 6 business days. But now your brain is comparing him to a finance guy with a yacht, a guitarist in Tulum, someone who meditates professionally, and a man whose bio says fluent in sarcasm and crypto. Modern dating has shifted from feeling like a genuine connection to feeling like browsing Amazon with emotional consequences. This is where mathematics enters the conversation. Mathematicians accidentally predicted this problem decades ago with something called the secretary problem. It may sound unromantic, but stay with me. Imagine you're trying to hire the best secretary. Interview candidates one at a time, but there is a catch. Once you reject someone, you can never go back. This is exactly like swiping on a dating app. So the mathematical question becomes, how do you know when to stop searching and finally choose? Surprisingly, math has an answer. Mathematicians discovered that the statistically best strategy is to spend the first part of the process gathering information. There's no panic, no premature commitment, and no emotionally attaching yourself to someone because he owns a BMW and reads philosophy books. Just collecting data, learning patterns, and understanding your standards. Mathematically, the magic number is 37%. This means you should reject the first 37% of options, not because they're bad, but because this helps establish perspective and allows you to understand what's actually out there. After that point, you choose the next person who is better than everyone before. Suddenly, modern dating starts to make sense. Many people aren't actually dating anymore. They are trapped in data collection phase, always searching, always comparing, always wondering if someone better is just one swipe away. Eventually, they stop building connection because they're too busy optimizing possibilities. Of course, love is more complicated than mathematical equations. Humans are not spreadsheets. Chemistry matters, timing matters, emotional maturity matters. But maybe a little help from mathematics can remind us that finding a life partner is probably too important to leave entirely to luck, vibes, and a guy holding a tiger in his profile picture. Optimal stopping achieved.